Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Homestead Miami Speedway for the SimRacerHub.com 169. Should be an awesome night of racing here in what is one of the more fun and challenging tracks we have in the calendar. As you can see, we've got 27 people signed up to the race, a 31-11 strength of field. Everyone just out there logging some race laps at the moment. They had a pit party not long ago. So everyone's still continuing on with that. There's Austin Dan in the 40 car currently leading the way over the 103 of Dustin Franklin. We have Matt Horton currently sitting third, with Reggie Ortega currently fourth, and Scott Rickard, the one-time series champ a couple seasons ago, sitting in P5. Logan McAnally there in P6 as well. Currently looking at Reggie Ortega there in the 2 car. A couple of people getting up into the fence just in front of him. I think one of them was Scott Rickard. And it looks like Ortega going to bring it into the pits very late into the pits there. Almost wiped out the barrels on pit exit. There's another 110 laps, 169 miles of racing. So it should be a fun little watch here. Reggie coming in, getting a full service there. I don't know why we're still aimed on Reggie. The camera is set to focus on crashes. Now we move on to Chris Champo in the 12. Right behind him, he's got Patrick Orr. Patrick Orr in the 15. Wait, is he in the 15? No, that can't be. The 15 is Campbell. Must be the 18. I can't read. It is the 18. There we go. Frank Isaacson up into the fence there, coming out of turn 2. That is generally something we see a lot of in practice, cars getting up into the fence, coming out of 2. Cars tend to get very tight off of 2 and loose out of 4. And then pretty tight as well on the entry to 4, so, you know, between 3 and 4. So that's a couple of things we're going to have to watch for in this one. So like the longest stint we have out there at the moment is we've got 3 people on 14 laps. See Corey Cook there on screen. We've got Chris Champo, who's just moved to 15 laps now. Patrick Orr on 15. Jack Sanders on 15. We've got 2 13s with Thomas Harmon and Jonas Marquez. Ken Campbell is on 12 laps at the moment on his run. There's Matt Horton, currently P3. Jack Sanders on screen, currently down in 11th, which is pretty good for him, honestly. Back to Patrick Orr in 14th, as Scott Rickard right down to the apron, just behind Patrick. Also had a close encounter of the wall kind, which is not surprising for Scott. He doesn't mind a wall scrape here and there. The time is winding down. There's about 10 minutes left. And with the lap times they're doing, that means about, what, 19 laps? 18 laps of running? And that's if they stayed out there for the whole time. We just saw Corey Cook in the 61. Moved down to Frank Isaacson in the 24. And around goes Horton. Oh, and he made it all the way down to the inside wall there, so he'll have to tow and get a fresh car. 12 of Chris Champeau looking to get underneath of the Cookie Monster himself. Chris Champeau down in 20th at the moment. Oh, Corey Cook just caught the fence there on the transition between 3 and 4. And Champeau just improved position to in front of Cook. So Chris Champeau now in 19th, Corey Cook in 20th. Oh, and there goes Champ, smashing heavily into the inside fence. His hood bouncing everywhere and almost getting cleaned up by Scott Rickard there for good measure. Jack Sanders in the 25 car. He's trying to catch up to Rickard and Harmon, who are just ahead. And Sanders actually on much fresher tyres now, as very loose as Thomas Harmon ahead of him. Thomas on 19 lap old tyres. Patrick Orr out there with the oldest tyres at 21 laps. And now we have just over 7 minutes left in practice. So if they want to do one more pit party, they got a very little amount of time left to do so. If not, then a couple people could pull in and look at doing some practice for qualifying. Gonna do some qualifying dry runs. There's a couple big gaps on the track that they can slot themselves into so they're not draft affected. Oh, there's the 74 Austin Collins. And he just got smashed by Austin Dan. It's alright, because TJ's face looked alright. Didn't look like it got hit very much at all. Speaking of TJ Crampton, he will be back at next week's race. So his suspension officially ends after this week. And he'll be back in racing action at the next event, which I think is at Auto Club. I'll have to double check that. Got 9 laps of action left. it looks like got a couple of new names down here. I can see the 57. He's been here at least a week now. So I should probably ask him how to pronounce his name. And we also have the 114 down the bottom there. That's Pancho Olivas. That's Olivas. Sure, it'll have a little bit of a slightly different pronunciation. So I'll have to get confirmation on that as well. And it's good to see Pancho out there having a run. Hadn't set a lap time yet, but I'm sure he will shortly. Chris Champo, Corey Cook on same bit of track again. There is the 57 of Corey. It's currently down towards the back in 24th position. Be hoping to improve on that. His best time is a 33.550. That puts him 0.913 off the lead at the moment. At 32.637. Into the fence there was Corey Cook right in front of Chris Champo. Corey checked up a little bit there just to make sure he didn't run it into the champ. And the Cookie Monster's in the fence now. He's just thinking all we need now is for Corey Williamson to come out of retirement. We're going to have 3 Corys on the track, all with different spelling names. That is the 35. That's Joshua Banks. He's actually down in 21st at the moment, which is crazy. Normally one of the better drivers out there. So to see him that far down the order is a bit of a surprise. 25, Jack Sanders. Big smash into the inside fence there on the back straight. Time is winding down, so very shortly we will be cutting to commercial for qualifying. I see we don't have Mark Pentecoff out there either. Mark taking a week off. Wasn't here last night for the Dirt League. He's not here tonight. He won't be here on Thursday, and he won't be here next Monday either. Says he might be back for the next Tuesday race, but we'll wait and see. But with that bombshell, we are going to start getting ready to go to a commercial break now. And when we come back, we will have the starting grid for the SimRacerHub.com 169 right here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the Output Racing League. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Racing action will be coming up very, very shortly. Welcome back to the SimRacerHub.com 169 here from the Homestead Miami Speedway. As you can see, qualifying has just completed, means it is time for us to get ready for the racing action. Starting off the pole, once the grid lineup comes up, we'll have the 35 of Joshua Banks, and on his outside out of P2 we'll have the 12 of Chris Champeau. Out of P3 we'll have the 05 of Scott Rickard, and P4 will be the 40 of Austin Dan. P5 we'll see the 38 of Thomas Harmon, with P6 the 9 of Joe Slammer. P7 we have the 15 of Ken Campbell, with P8 the 44 of Clayton Ward. P9 we will have the 61 of the Cookie Monster himself, Corey Cook, with P10 the 93 of Matt Sisler. P11 going to be the 13 of Travis Massia, with the 2 of Reggie Ortega out of P12. P13 will have the 7 of Kyle Kraus, with P14 the 89 of Matt Horton. P15 will have the 74 of Dustin Franklin, and the 39 James Watson out of 16. P17 is the 57 of Corey, with P18 the 24 of Frank Isaacson. P19 the 18 of Patrick Orr, with P20 the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. P21 will be the 74 of Austin Collins, P22 the 19 of Logan McAnally. P23 the 14 of Frederick Cremines, with the 24th position, the 00 of Jonas Marquez. P25 will be the 78 of Brian Pizzicami, with P26 the 25 of Jack Sanders. And last but not least, P27 will be Pancho Olivas, right at the back of the pack in the 114 car. Looks like everyone choosing to use the pit exit ramp there from the inside line. We do actually have the option to jump straight out onto the track. But here we go. 110 laps, 165 miles. Who is going to take it out? And from where in the pack will they be? It's already saying Jonathan Hernandez is out, so hopefully that is nothing to be concerned about. The pace car makes that hard left turn into pit lane. And we are off and racing. Joshua Banks leading away. They go 3 wide into turn number 1. Banks will hold the advantage on the inside line, sweep across all 3 lanes. Have Austin Dan right in behind him. It's still 3 wide for second, as now the 05 of Scott Rickard will take the advantage there. And he's going to challenge for the lead. We're going to go 3 wide for the lead coming out of turn 4. And the first lap is being led by the 05 of Scott Rickard. Almost contact there between Banks and Dan on the outside line. As Austin Dan using the middle lane there, a little bit more momentum than the bottom. Will sweep through and into the lead. Rickard tucks in behind. And with that, Banks sees an opportunity to take second place back from Rickard. We go side by side, and it looks like Banks is going to have the move made, but the momentum on the outside just kept Scott Rickard in there. Through 1 and 2 will go once more. Rickard choosing to go to the extreme outside line there, which leaves Banks clear. Oh, but Rickard closed that gap very quickly. And now Banks is going to lose out on more than just a couple of positions. as he drops in behind the 44 and the 12. That's Clayton Ward and Chris Champeau. And he is now going to be back in the 5th position. Big battle going on behind here as well. The 38 of Thomas Harmon and the 15 of Ken Campbell. And it looks like Campbell's going to take the advantage there. I think Hernandez, he's in the pits. He must be having big time issues with his interwebs. At least he's got something going on. He is definitely blinking a lot. The 35, Joshua Banks, now to the inside of Clayton Ward in the 44. And he's going to be hunting after the 12 of Chris Champeau, hoping that he can make a move for 3rd again. But Ward on the outside line, just a little bit too strong. Oh, I just saw in the background, someone was very loose there. Trying to figure out who that might have been. It wasn't the 114. It's a very similar paint scheme though to the 74 of Austin Collins. So yeah, not actually too sure who it was that I saw going sideways there. It might have been Jack. Or James. Tell the cameras now to start focusing anywhere and everywhere. Coming to the battle with Frank Isaacson and Kyle Kraus back up to the front. And we're looking at Thomas Harmon, who was behind the battle. Oh, look behind. Now that is a big battle there. That's a 4-way battle. McAnally. Is it McAnally? Yeah, McAnally leading this little battle here. Got Ortega, Sisler, and Slama in there. Oh, and that was someone in the fence. That's right towards the back there. I think that one this time was the 13 of Masia. And yeah, it was, because he's dropping positions like a stone. See if he's got any damage here on the right side. Looks like Frank Isaacson a little bit loose there. And I can't see any damage. Doesn't look like he's coming down to the pits, so it can't be too bad. Go back to focusing anywhere and everywhere. The battle rages on between Isaacson and Kraus. Right behind them, there's Brian Pizzakemi in the 78 car. Normally see him charging through a field. Hernandez still having some pretty big issues there with his internet by the looks of things. He's actually gone 5 laps down because of it. As now this has turned into a 4-way battle. The 13 of Travis Masia has been caught by these guys. And yeah, Travis is definitely not having a fun time out there. I'm guessing one of those wheel contacts is definitely giving him some kind of damage. Austin Collins flirting with the outside wall there, going through turn strain 4. And yeah, it looks like it's a free-for-all for passing Travis at the moment. So Travis definitely has some kind of damage. Austin Collins now on the move, going from top to bottom while he had the gap. Jonas Marquez that he jumped in front of as Travis is making the slow charge towards the back. There's 39. That's James Watson. He got a little bit unsettled coming out of 2 by the looks of things. But it looks like they're starting to deal with a little bit of a loose condition as we're going on here. Austin Dan still leading the way from Champeau, Ward and Banks. Scott Rickard's actually dropped down to P6 at the moment. So I think he had a close encounter of the wall kind at some point. Logan McConnelly has the fastest lap of the race. 31.212. And it looks like Hernandez has come back corporeal once more. See if he makes his way out onto the track. Probably just waiting for the field to pass before he makes a move. And yeah, he's coming back out now. He's only a sultry 11 laps down as it stands. Bit of tyre marks up against the wall from every time people get up there and scrape it. Rickard looks like he's definitely on a charge towards the back, so he might have a little bit of damage himself. As Ken Campbell's gotten around him. The 44 of Clayton Ward just got into the fence a little bit. Right in front of McConnelly. McConnelly around the outside. Smooth as silk. Takes over position. And he moves himself up into the 4th position. Campbell also gets around Ward there. Have a little bit of congestion in front as the 12, Chris Champeau, has just taken over the lead. He's battling hard with Dan and Banks here. Dan around the outside, Banks around the inside. And Champeau stuck in the middle with you. McConnelly right on the tail of Champ as well. The Champ's lost a little bit of time here somewhere. And that's allowed Banks and Dan to catch up to him and overtake him. McConnelly now makes his way up into 3rd underneath the Chris Champeau. Champ using that momentum of the outside line, diving back underneath of McConnelly. And he will retake that 3rd position. McConnelly already trying to fight back with the extra momentum he got. Dies it down low. Will he have the legs to get the move made this time? No. This time on the outside line, Champeau will maintain 3rd. 30.05, Scott Rickard also trying to make a move there. Gets to the inside of Ken Campbell. Campbell with the momentum on the outside will help him to maintain position. Now both Campbell, Rickard as well as Ortega. Dive to the inside, trying to make a move on the 44 of Ward. But Campbell might get the position here. Rickard's going to try his luck as well. The line, it's still Ward over Rickard. Ooh, Ward experimenting with some alternate dimensions there. And he concedes position to the 05 of Rickard. As Scott Rickard back up into P6. And it's Ken Campbell into the top 5. Look at McAnally briefly there as he was trying to catch back up to Champo. Now we look at Frederick Cremines, currently in the 13th position. Lucky for some, unlucky for others. Just in front of him, move being put on from Sisler on the Cookie Monster himself, Corey Cook. But Cook's going to have the momentum with the outside line. And the draft from Salama down the front straight. Sisler jumps back into line. As now he's running a higher mid-line. Just trying to keep his nose in the clean air there. And it kind of worked for him. He got a little bit of speed boost over the 9 of Salama, who now has the Cookie Monster in front of him. And also Sisler forcing his way up in front of Salama there as they came out of 2. Now the battle is on there, right in front of Freddie Cremines. And Salama still managing to hold on to position. But Sisler's battling a little bit of tight there. Oh, there's contact. Go back and have a look at this from another angle. Come out of 2. Did Sisler come down or did Salama just go up? Oh, a little bit of column A, a little bit of option 2. Possibly a little bit of netcode in there as well. Salama kept it on the straight and narrow. Managed to keep it going. Salama now drops into the 16th position. And a fair way back from that pack ahead of him. This pack's starting to get pretty busy now. See Pizzacami trying to fight his way through it. 44, Clayton Ward has dropped down into this pack. In fact, he's going very slowly. Clayton Ward might have hit the wall at some point. Yeah, I think Clayton Ward might have a bit of damage on board. And he's considerably slower than everyone else around him. Pizzacami gets around the inside of Matt Horton in 1 and 2. Freddie Cremines pulls to the inside of Sisler, trying to make a move in 3 and 4. But they have the ever hard charging Brian Pizzacami right there behind him. It looks like Pancho has come into the pits in the 114 car. A bit early for your first stop unless you got damage. We'll wait and see if he comes back out. If he doesn't, and barring anything happening to Hernandez, that's going to be an easy freebie for him. And it looks like Pancho is actually making his way back out. He's 1 lap down, almost 2 laps down, as the leaders are coming up right behind him. And it looks like they might get him cleared here just at the merge point for the pit lane. But in theory, Pancho will have fresher tyres now. Plenty of cars. And a little bit squirrely coming up the 2. It's almost as if they're getting so tight that they're having to put too much wheel input into it, and when that right front grips up, it just spits them off down to the inside line. Sometimes down all the way to the apron, coming out of 2. It looks like Pancho is trying to stay very far out of the way. See him down there on the infield, the apron. He goes back into the pits once more. There may be big issues there for the 114 car. He is still in the pit lane. Imagine he's in there getting damage fixed. That's a big dive from the 78 of Pizzakemi. That's to the inside of Sisler and Cremines. Sisler just kind of blocked that off a little bit. Didn't fully commit to the block. Left the lane down there for Pizzakemi, but Pizzakemi was had his momentum just broken enough that he couldn't make that move. Pizzakemi now trying to try that move again. But once more, Sisler coming down to take that line. It looks like even just being on the lower side of the half track there, Sisler just breaking the momentum enough of the 78 car that he can't get a good enough run. I think we're going to take this opportunity. Unless Pizzakemi can actually get this move made, because he's got Horton right there on his tail. Honestly, this battle might be just too good to miss right now. Straight down to the inside. There's just not any overlap yet. Now there is, as they get into turn 2. Pizzakemi now looks like he's got the run. He thunders ahead of Sisler now. And that's all she wrote for that battle. Now Horton's going to try his hand around the outside. I think what we are going to do now is we are going to go for a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be expecting some green flag stops soon. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More racing action coming up very shortly. All right. A couple of things went wrong there because we are under caution for the first time here tonight during the ad break. There's for the 12 of Chris Champeau. Let's have a look at what happened to him. Coming out of turn 2 here. And this is just as the 7 Kyle Kraus had been in the pits for a couple laps. Now Chris coming out of 2. Looks like he's just gotten loose, just managed to keep it off the fence there. Unfortunately, made it all the way down to the inside wall. Big smash onto the inside wall there, actually. Starts spinning backwards back towards the track. See him locking up the wheels there, trying to stop. And the yellow lights are already on. That's a shame for Chris Champeau. He was in a really good position there. But that has put us under caution for the first time here tonight. Joshua Banks leading the way in the 40 car. Just behind him is Austin Dan and Ken Campbell, Scott Rickard and Logan McConnelly. Let's see how pit stops are going to unfold here. Because everyone will be coming into pit. Which also means it might be a little bit of a fuel strategy kind of race here towards the back end of this one. I think we might be close to being marginal on fuel here. And everyone on the lead lap has come in. There's Chris just limping into his pit box. A lot of left side damage on that 12 car as Banks just squeezes out in front of the 40 of Dan. Campbell, Rickard maintain 3rd and 4th there. Harmon up into 5th. Great to see Thomas Harmon having a good stop there. I think the 114 of Pancho is going to look at getting a wave around here, and I do believe that Jonathan Hernandez was the lucky dog wave around as Thomas Harmon heads back into the pits with Corey Cook, Austin Collins. I think I saw Clayton Ward was in the pits as well. No, that's just me being delusional. Harmon and Collins coming back in, obviously in an attempt to get some more damage fixed or to get a little bit more gas. Get into the 2x2 formation. And yeah, I can confirm Jonathan Hernandez was the lucky dog wave around. He's now 10 laps down. Joshua Banks had lane choice. He chose the inside. And he controls the green. He can go at any time after they enter the restart zone. But here we go. The pace car is going to make that hard left turn into pit lane. We get to the restart zone and Joshua Banks goes right on that first line. And he'll take a dominating lead here going into turn 1. Not different to that first start where you got to wait for the green for the first start. We focus on crashes, it immediately goes to the 78 Pizzacami. Now it's starting to move around a little bit. Pizzacami himself actually up into P7 right now, which is awesome. Oh, the 89, Matt Horton, bouncing off the wall in between 3 and 4. Joshua Banks has actually lost position there to Austin Dan. Dan, who got a really good run off the restart there, has taken the lead away. McCannally trying to look for the 3 wide move between Pizzacami and the Cookie Monster. McCannally will get a 1 with the pass on Pizzacami. And I suspect that this is where Pizzacami is actually going to shine here a little bit. Because this is going to be a little bit of fuel and tyre saving as they go towards the end. And he's definitely the best at saving tyres. We'll get to see him flex that right now. And a little bit of his fuel saving technique as well. As the Cookie Monster gets up into the fence once more. McCannally, just with a nice calm run there up on the inside. Almost pulling completely side by side with Corey Cook. And he gets him clear there coming out of 2. Cook is either going to have to dive it down or he's just going to have to wait for McCannally. Chose to wait as Pizzacami up high. He's starting to lose a little bit of ground here with the 14 of Cremines. And the 93 is Sisler looking to attack. Outside momentum nodes just keeping him in this. Just behind them as well they have Dustin Franklin. And yeah, he is running the 74 car even though he shouldn't be. I can't actually read what his number is. I think it says 104 there. He's a 103 car, my apologies. I was looking at the wrong timing software for what his number was. But Dustin Franklin in the 103.74 as he's trying to make his way through the field. He's currently in 10th. There's someone there half a lap off the pace. And I think that might be Corey and the 57 car. That's all the way back there by himself. Half a lap, or just a little bit over half a lap behind the leaders. But he's run into some trouble at some point. Rouse still in the pits. He's actually dropped down to last now. So whatever his issue is, it's pretty major. Might have done an engine. Let's check in on our top 3. There's Scott Rickard. Has a 15 of Ken Campbell right on his butt. Joshua Banks just in front. Austin Dan pulled out to a half a second lead over Banks. But Dan definitely looking like the man. They're definitely catching up to the 57 very quickly here. So before too long, he will be a lap car for them to contend with. We're nearing ever closer to the halfway point. We're actually going to take an early second commercial break, just because of the possibility of some late pit stops. Probably take it around lap 60, 65. Just because of the way that caution fell. Looks like Banks has just reeled in Dan. So the battle could be on here for the lead very shortly. So Dan's still just holding on to it right now. Look through the field a little bit. There's a battle. The 103.74 of Franklin getting underneath of Ryan Pizzicami. Oh, the 44 Clayton Ward getting super loose coming out of two. He might have bounced off the fence there a little bit. And he's just dropped from 13th all the way down to 18th. So he's just lost, actually 19th. So he's lost 6 positions there. As we reach the halfway point, 55 down, 55 to go. Looks like Pizzicami was able to hold on to position in front of the 74-103. Oh, almost contact there between Slammer and Sisler. Horton rails the high line. Pizzicami starting to find his groove. Gets to the inside of Horton. Can he make the move stick? This is for the 9th position. And believe it or not, but Pizzicami had it at the line. As now he makes the move stick. He got a little bit loose there though. I think that made Horton just second guess his exit a little bit. He lifted slightly. And I think with this move here, Pizzicami will be clean and clear up into P9. Behind them, they're still battling. Let's have a look-see here. Franklin's on the outside. We've got the 93, Sisler, up on the inside. Chris Champeau recovering after that spin. And he's knocking on the fringes of the top 10 here. Oh, a lot of pace on that 12 car as Sisler gets out of his way. As he'll dive now underneath of the 9 and the 74-103. It looks like for the moment he's just going to be content to be behind Franklin. And now he's going to go for the move. I thought he was going to side draft a little bit off the front straight, just to try and slow Franklin up before the corner. The netcode is a bit of a worry here, especially since we just went past week 13. Netcode can be very prevalent for a couple of weeks before and after week 13. And by that I mean a lot more prevalent than normal. Instead of half a foot of netcode, you can see sometimes 2 or 3 feet of netcode weeks directly before and after week 13. That's why there's probably a little bit of room being given here as Franklin prevails over Champeau. Sisler trying to get back up on the inside of the champ. But Chris Champeau just winding up there, running the outside line to get a big run down to the inside in 1 and 2. Sisler right on his tail, just about contact between the 74-103 and the 12 car. And Champ not getting into him, but just getting there enough. It was putting the pressure on Franklin as they went 3 wide briefly. Sisler somehow managing to entrap the 12 of Chris Champeau there behind the rookie as, wow, Franklin chased the car down the track very aggressively. It's like he got super loose there with Chris on his tail. Champeau now running the high line, trying to catch back up to Sisler in the 93 car. Franklin's still on the inside though, but he's going to have to worry about not just trying to get back around Chris, but trying to hold off the 9 of Slammer. Go, running the very top of the track. But both of them do get around Franklin now. I think Franklin got a little bit loose again. Go back to focusing anywhere and everywhere. There's Horton and Pizzakemi battling it out once more. The 2 hardest chargers in the field. Both of them usually don't qualify, start towards the back and work their way through, see how far up they can get. Usually it works out better for Pizzakemi than it does Horton. Horton usually has some pretty bad luck with it. Some of it his own doing, some of it not so much. It's in the background. I just saw Frank Isaacson battling with Thomas Harmon. That's not something you see every day. Now battling over the 20th position. And I haven't been paying attention to the laps, so we're going to go to our quick commercial break now as Thomas Harmon peels to the inside of Austin Collins. And when we come back, we will be going to the checkered flag, so make sure you guys stay tuned. More racing action from the Sim Racer Hub 169 here from the Homestead Miami Speedway, coming up very shortly. Welcome back to the SimRacerHub.com 169 here from the Homestead Miami Speedway, and green flag stops have already started taking place. Austin Dan has already made his stop. So too is Clayton Ward. Corey Cook is the next one in. You see Ken Campbell has just taken the lead over Joshua Banks as we're coming back from the ad break there. So he's probably looking at going a little bit longer, as his tyres are right in an optimal window right now. As the Cookie Monster comes out of the pits, and Austin Dan will go around him. It's obvious that they're not going to be able to maintain this kind of pace without pitting at least once. It's all just about picking the right moment to pull it into the pits. It's Austin Collins in the 74 car. He's trying to catch back up to the 38 of Thomas Harmon. It is 78 of Pisacami. He's still trying to work over Matt Horton. Lots of little storylines throughout the field. Thomas Harmon just getting around Patrick Orr. Remember, Harmon made an extra pit stop under the caution for some extra gas, and he's only up in 13th at the moment. So it didn't quite work out for him the way that he thought it might have. Gave up a P5 to do that, as Franklin is in the pits in the 103.74 car. And at the completion of the lap just started by the leaders, as we're on lap 75, so that means that we'll just have 35 laps left to run in this race. Looks like Clayton Ward coming back into the pits. Something's gone awry there on the 44 machine, as the 18 of Orr just collects the ball there in the middle of 3 and 4. Allowed easy passage for Austin Collins in the 74 car. Olivas is in the pits as well. And I think Kraus did go through an engine, because he has been in the pits the entire time. And our leaders are in: Ken Campbell, Logan McAnally. That gives the lead back to Banks. why McAnally is at the top of the pylon there. Corey Cook on his fresh tyres, starting to tear through the field here a little bit. Slammer. Oh, we've got a couple more people pitting. We've got Horton, Champeau and Sisler all coming into the pits. Austin Dan already back on the lead lap. Rameen's in the pits now, ready pitting from the 4th position. So too is Patrick Orr in the 18 car. These cars on the fresher tyres are definitely going to make the most of it while they've got the fresher tyres. 30 laps to go at the line this time. This wouldn't be a bad time to pit. 30 laps with fresh tyres, you could do a lot with it. And it looks like Clayton Ward has a big issue there because he's still in the pits. So some damage there that he's got to fix. G12 Chris Champeau trying to fight his way through the field with his fresher tyres. As I said, it is possible to have made it to the end from when that caution came out. Just got to work on your fuel saving strategies. Campbell is back on the lead lap now. McAnally is the next one lap down. So if we were to get a caution, he would get the lucky dog. Everyone else would have to do a wave around. Jonas Marquez in the double O machine is in the pits. And Banks has gotten around Rickard. This is the battle going on. McAnally in behind them. He's trying to make up as much time as he can. And he's getting a little bit balked by these leaders on old tyres. McAnally gets around them both. Here comes Corey Cook as well. Going to compromise the exit there for Banks. He and Rickard battling it out pretty hard at the moment. Again, it's all about who's got the more gas left and the better tyres right now. And Austin Dan, even though he's the first car to pit, he's still 27 seconds behind this pairing. So he's going to have to really burn the midnight oil if he wants to try and catch them. He has to be beating them by over a second a lap. Especially in these earlier stages while he does have the fresher tyres. And I just don't think he'll be able to. Let's see, last lap for Austin Dan was a 34.6. Last lap for Banks, 36.2. So he is doing it right now. He's got to try and maintain that for this entire stint. You know, Banks, Rickett and Pizzicami and even Reggie Ortega right now. They're just looking after their tyres and their gas. I'm pretty sure I heard someone out there holding the clutch going into the corner. The way the car fucking just dropped in revs. It's my one for the broadcast. Hernandez still experimenting with some alternate dimensions. Olivas has gotten around Clayton Ward in the pits. He's going to have to deal with Hernandez here soon, though. They're both on the same lap, so Hernandez could stand to gain 24th position here shortly. And Rickett and Banks, you know, they're laughing right now because they have, what, like 2.5 seconds, almost 2 3/4 seconds over Pizzicami. They really don't have to push hard unless they want to battle each other. I think that's what Rickett realised. That's why he's let Banks go ahead. Probably also using Banks as a little bit of a fuel saving measure. Because in the draft, you can save a little bit more gas than if you were out front by yourself. Here comes Horton now with his fresh tyres to get around our leading pair. Brady Cremines is there as well, just behind them a little bit. Definitely a lot of different fuel saving techniques going on right now. There's Slama, he's in P7. Sanders in P9. These guys are just hoping to hold on. Patrick All with his fresh tyres and gas going around the outside of Sanders. There is 16 cars on the lead lap. Freddie Cremines has gotten his lap back now. Chris Champeau, the next one in line. And the reason why I'm talking about the possibility of a caution is because it's always possible. Especially in these laps where you have differing tyre strategies, different fuel strategies. You know, the people on fresher tyres with the fresh fuel, they're trying to push as hard as they can to try and catch up to the leaders, while the leaders are trying to really look after their stuff. I don't suspect we'll see the leaders starting the battle to the last few laps. You know, when they know that they're safe on fuel. As there goes Sanders to the inside of Slama. Now they are battling for position. They're battling over P8. It's got Hernandez there, trying to get up on the inside as well. Hernandez is trying to catch Pancho so he can take that position. Double O Jonas Marquez sweeps through. This looks like he's got a different color car this season. Looks like a matte color instead of his normal metallic black. Either that or his car has been playing in a lot of dirt and dust. As we now just have 15 laps left to run in this race. Scott Rickard has taken back the lead. I didn't see it happen. They've caught up to Matt Sisler though. Or Sisler's caught up to them, I should say. And he's back on the lead lap. So there's now 18 cars on the lead lap. Franklin is the next car in the 103.74 car. To be fair, Franklin could have had the right number on for the race, but because I'm recording this off of a replay, it might just be showing different. That does happen. But I still like making the joke anyway. The Banks is definitely falling off the back of Rickard here. I guess he wasn't as to the good as he thought he might have been. But Scott Rickard looks like he's a little bit more confident in what his fuel numbers are showing him. Izakami's still sitting right up there in third. And it is definitely that Banks has slowed down. It's not that Rickard has sped up. Because the gap to Pizzacami is still about the same between Rickard and Pizzacami, I should say. It could also be that Banks' tyres have just fallen off the cliff. And he's not getting the kind of grip that he thought he might be getting at this point in the race. He's fallen back to about half a second. Now reaching the end of lap 100, which means as soon as Scott Rickard gets the line, it's just 10 laps left to run in this race. And the gap between himself and Banks has gone out to 0.6 of a second now. Even Pizzacami's starting to feel the pain. He's dropped off. I think Rickard might be picking up the pace a little bit as well, as everyone else is slowing down a little bit. And Pizzacami actually soon to be under threat from Reggie Ortega. 0.4 of a second between them and closing. Nine laps left. Can Ortega take over P3 here? Also think Ortega might be in the conversation for hard charger. And where is Banks? Oh, sorry, Dan. Austin Dan currently P9. But he's still 17 seconds off of Scott Rickard. With less than 10 laps to go, he is not making up that margin. Cannelly is in P8, just one ahead of Dan. And he's still running faster lap times, but again, he's just that little bit too far off at 13 seconds to really make a difference here. Because it's not just he needs to be like 2 seconds a lap faster, it's also he needs to be able to carve through the traffic without losing any time. And that is the hard part. Thomas Harmon has worked his way back up to 5th now, after not pitting. Austin Collins just in behind him, still in P6. Ken Campbell, he pitted recently, didn't he? Yeah, Ken Campbell, currently the best of the pitters in P7. He's in a little bit of a battle there with McAnally. That's the wrong one. That's the right one. There's McAnally just behind. Austin Collins. Actually, no, that's not Austin. That's Pancho just ahead. As I said, the paint scheme for Pancho there is throwing me off because it looks so similar to the Austin Collins paint. Pancho got in the fence there. Allowed an easy passage for Ken Campbell. Go back to check in for our battle for 3rd with 5 laps to go. And Ortega is there. And Ortega take over the 3rd position from Pisacemi. Well, they're going to have to deal with Patrick Orr at the same time, who's in 20th position, 2nd car a lap down. But he's on fresher tyres. As, oh, Pisacemi, he can't make it. He's gone into the pits. Pisacemi has pitted here with 4 laps to go. That gives Ortega free rein over P3. So now the question raises, can Scott Rickard make it? He's driving as if he's got no care in the world here. Dustin Franklin just behind, the first car a lap down. But does Rickard have enough in the tank to make it to the end? The same question can be raised for Banks and Ortega. Do they have enough to make it to the end? Pisacemi's dropped to 13th, and I doubt he got tyres. But he's still going to be stuck at the same pace as these guys. He gets in front of the 05 of Rickard there. He knows the 74-103 has fresher tyres. They left the outside lane open as we've got 2 laps left. He is slightly faster than Scott Rickard. Campbell and McAnally, they're in 6th and 7th now. They're right behind Austin Collins. Harmon's promoted to P4. White flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. Can Rickard hold on? Masia had to make a pit stop. Campbell up to 5th. He's not going to make up 6 seconds in 1 lap. Banks is right there, coming through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. The win is going to go to the 05 of Scott Rickard. I think Banks ran out of fuel there, coming out of 4. He slowed right down, but he'll still take over 2nd. Reggie Ortega will take home 3rd. What a wild way to end this race. Now we'll have to see if Rickard has enough gas left to do a burnout. I hope he's clutching it here. Ortega, let's give him a little bit of a congratulations there. Thomas Harmon did manage to hold on to 4. Campbell made his way back up to P5. But here it is. Rickard, Banks, Ortega, Harmon, Campbell, McAnally, Collins, Dan, Cook, Champeau. That is your top 10. As we look over the page, it's Watson, Slammer, Cremeen, Sanders, Sisler, Isaacson, Horton, Franklin, Pizzakemi, and Orr down to 20th. Go over the page once more. Marquez, Corey, Masia, Olivas, Hernandez, Ward, and Kraus. And it looks like Prickett has run out of gas. He does not have enough to do a burnout, which is absolutely painfully disappointing. But it was a damn good run. So with that, we're going to take a quick little break here, and we're going to go into driver reviews, because this is a recorded race. It's not the live thing. So we'll be back in just a few moments so we can review our top 3 and our hard charger. Alrighty, it is now time for our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. And today's Hard Charger is also our third place getter. And it is, of course, the 2 car of Reggie Ortega. There he is. Now, Reggie wasn't too much of a factor throughout the majority of the race, but as we saw there, when that caution came out after he pitted, he decided to do the fuel saving technique, and he came away with a really solid P3 here. Started 12th on the grid, and yeah, from there he just looked after his stuff, maintained a really decent pace, and managed to hold on to the third place getter. Then coming up next for second place, we go to the 35 car of Joshua Banks. Now, Banks was there in the first run, right up with the rest of the front runners in the conversation. Not sure when he elected to do the fuel saving thing, but as you can see, it almost worked out for him. He just ran out coming out of turn 4 on the final lap there, but still managed to hold on to a really solid P2, and he should be absolutely racked with his performance. But our first place getter here and the best of the fuel savers was the 05 of Scott Rickard. And what can I say? He's showing flashes from 2 seasons ago when he won the championship. And it's races like this where he can have the ability to really search deep through his driving techniques that really shines. He saved his tires perfectly. He saved just enough fuel to make it to the end. He ran out of fuel just after the line. So he played the game perfectly, and he came home with a rather emphatic victory here tonight. But that is going to wrap things up for us here. Thank you so much for coming out and having a watch. I'm just going to look for where we are at next week. If we're on next week, it might be an off week, maybe. No, we are on next week, and we're going to be going to the Auto Club Speedway. So that one should be an absolute banger. And that is also the week where TJ comes back from suspension. So he could have come back tonight, but chose to wait an extra. Oh no, I just read that wrong. So tonight was the last night of his suspension. So he comes back next week at Auto Club for the Revive California Speedway race, and that one is a 160-mile long race. So make sure you're here for that. But until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys next week at Auto Club.